Oui, Kakina. Hello, everyone. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. It is important to acknowledge that even as we gather, we are on the unceded and ancestral territory of the Anishinaabe Algonquin people. De nos jours, divers peuples des Premières Nations, des Inuits et des Métis vivent, travaillent et étudient sur ce territoire. Nous rendons hommage à toutes les Premières Nations, aux Inuits et aux Métis, à leurs aînés et à leurs ancêtres, en reconnaissant leurs importantes contributions passées et présentes. Ottawa Public Library is committed to building relationships with Anishinaabe Algonquin communities, enriching OPL collections with Anishinaabe Algonquin content, respecting and including their voices, reflecting Indigenous culture in our programs and spaces, supporting the host nation's culture, and implementing Indigenous reconciliation for the benefit of all Ottawans.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm with the Ottawa Public Library, as is my colleague who just gave us our land acknowledgements. It is my pleasure to introduce NaNoWriMo 101, or what is NaNoWriMo? Before we get started, this meeting is being recorded. Your cameras and microphones are off by default. If you do turn on your cameras, please know that others can see you and that you will be recorded. At the end of the session, there will be a Q&A session where you'll be invited to use the chat to ask your questions. And without further ado, I will introduce our speakers today. We have Kim, who wants to live in a world where their tea is always just right, and there are 1,000 more hours in a day. I want that world too. They're a public servant by day and writer by night, and when they're not at their day job, you will find them drinking tea, playing D&D, or being overrun by their many fur children. We have Caitlin Call, who is a published author through Renaissance Press. She is particularly fond of craft beer, strong, voicey stories, and things that go bump in the night. And then we have Helena, who is a fly-by-the-seat-of-your-pants writer who writes mostly fantasy, or whatever the story ends up being. The rest of the time, she spends doing her multitude of craft hobbies and selling flowers made out of books. All right, welcome everybody, and enjoy the session.
Hi, everyone. This is Kim. It's hard to tell who's speaking when there are masks involved. I'm one of the 3 municipal liaisons for the Ottawa region of NaNo. You can find me on the NaNoWriMo website under the username Pistachio Ice Cream. And I will quickly hand off to Helena to do a little bit of her intro.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Helena, Nico Pandas 22 on the website. Like Kim, I'm one of the we're 2/3 of the ML team. Kim and Katie have been MLs for 8 years. I've been doing this for 9 years. And we're super excited, and pass it off to Katie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie. Like they said, it's nice to meet all of you. I have been doing this for 8 years, like Lena mentioned. My name on the site is Kinahataya. It is unpronounceable. Don't worry about it. I also go by Kim. That works just fine. So yes, thank you and welcome to NaNoWriMo, essentially 101. We are happy to have you guys with us today. We are going to take you through a couple quick slides introducing you to NaNo and what it is, and we are going to finish up with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please do hold them to the end or type them into the chat. We will be monitoring that as well. So I'm going to kick things off. We are going to jump into what is NaNoWriMo. NaNoWriMo stands for National Novel Writing Month. It takes place every November. Writers around the world can sign up on the site, and then you just aim to write 50,000 words in a month. That is 1,667 words in a day over a 30-day period. It sounds like a monumental task, but just so you guys know, it is possible. We do it every year, and it's also not mandatory for you to hit the 50,000 words. You can set your own goal and reach for that goal, and that is just as fine. We have people who write 500 words in a month, and that is a big achievement for them. And we have people who write 100,000 words in a month, and I don't know how they do it. I'm assuming a diet of pure caffeine. So as a note, also, it is open to both veteran and amateur writers alike. We have published authors like myself through Renaissance Press, which is a wonderful company. You should look it up. It's amazing. We also have people who this is their first year writing. Maybe they do fan fiction, maybe they're doing nonfiction. It doesn't matter what you're writing, so long as you come in with a love and a desire to write. So how do you participate in NaNo? This is awesome. You got your pencil, you got your paper, you're ready to get started. Sign up on NaNoWriMo.org. It is a website that is just going to take you in and get you set up right away. All you have to do is go in, find your local region. You do that by join a home region, and just sign up right there. You will find that you'll be introduced to your MLs. If you're in the Ottawa region, that's going to be us lovely people here. And once you're signed up, you will be able to access all of the events and forums and different social media accounts that we have available to keep you engaged and active with the community. On November 1st, the first official day of November, you get started. We all sit down at midnight on the 31st and we start writing. It is one of our very first events and one of our oldest events that we love to participate in. Just as an important note, you do need to write your novel on your own computer, notebook, whiteboard, whatever you want to use. Do not write it on the website. There is a place to enter your word count at the end of the day so you can keep track of it. If you write it there, it will disappear and you will be sad. Don't do that. So what can you write? The official goal is to write 50,000 words of a novel. However, you don't actually have to do that. If you want to write 500 words, if you want to write 1,000 words, if you want to write negative 50,000 words as an edit, you can do that. That is all entirely reasonable, entirely possible. The point is to bring people together. So when you are doing something like writing, negative 50,000 words, you are actually given a different title. You're called a nano rebel. That is someone who is starting off a project that is not brand new. Maybe it's a bunch of short stories. Maybe it's something you've half written already and you want to write the other half of it this time. I've been a nano rebel myself multiple years. I'm probably doing that again because November 1st is around the corner and I still have no idea what I'm doing. This is not uncommon. You don't have to fret about that. You can also write in whatever genre or language you'd like to. We have a lot of English writers. We also have some Francophone writers. There are Spanish writers, there are Polish writers, there are Chinese writers. You can pick whatever language you're comfortable in and use that to write with. When you are part of the community, it's more about getting people together, being able to support each other in all these different languages across the world. I'm going to pass things off to Kim now to help you get set up for NaNo.
All right, everyone. So as Katie alluded to in her portion where she was speaking, a lot of NaNoWriMo is less about the actual task of 50,000 words, which is a big part of it. It is the established goal of the challenge. But the real meat of NaNoWriMo is coming into it with a writing mindset that's going to be helpful and productive for you. So approaching it not with the big scary, I have to write a book a mindset, but coming in knowing that you're there to put pen to page and just develop a habit. So some useful sort of mantras to come into the month with is remind yourself that you are writing a draft. You're not writing a final version of a novel. No one's going to be leaving the month with something that is like immediately fully polished, ready to go out into the world. Everything is going to be a little bit messy, and that's okay, and that's a part of the process. So it's very useful to come in knowing that you don't have to make it perfect. You just have to make it exist. You want to make sure that you're going for quantity, not quality, because if you sit down and you agonize over each individual word, you're going to hamper your progress and you're going to sort of restrict yourself. You want to be able to turn that inner editor that is constantly giving you self-doubt and telling you you're not good enough, turn that off. This is a time to explore what can be and not necessarily what it quote unquote should be. At the end of the month, you're going to have something that is very rough, but you're going to have something that didn't exist before. You're going to have a novel, or at least a chunk of a novel, which is not a small task in itself. One of the phrases that I like to remind myself and other people when they start getting hung up on what they should be writing, whether their writing is good enough, is finished, not perfect. You can always come back and edit a book that is written, but you can't do that to a book that hasn't been written yet. So the idea is go in and put pen to page and just make the book happen. Don't fuss and fret about whether or not it's perfect or good enough. If you are writing, it is good enough. Katie's in charge of the slides. Thank you. All right, so Katie has mentioned in her portion that we host events. So what we like to call a lot of them are write-ins. So I'm going to take a moment to explain exactly what a write-in is. So for any of you who are not familiar with that term. So a write-in is a chance for a number of writers to gather together, either in person or virtually, and we write parallel to each other in each other's presence. Depending on which one you're attending, some of them are more heavily writing focused, some of them are more social, some of them are very fluid, and we go back and forth between focusing heavily on writing and then chatting and having a bunch of fun. But the idea is that you want to take time out of your schedule to go and attend an event where the goal is to do writing and to meet other writers and have that energy that you can't get when you're on your own. And honestly, they're extremely useful because I find that the social pressure of seeing other people writing around you, or at least knowing that they are writing, is super helpful for making you more productive. All right, so how does one attend events, and are there any rules? This is a little bit different than we've done in the past because we are in a situation where this is the first year we're back in person after the lockdowns. So I'm going to begin by saying every event is optional. You can go on the website, see all of the wonderful events we're hosting, but if none of them sound like they're for you, you have no obligation to attend any of them. They are there for you, and if they don't serve you, then you are welcome to ignore them. But we really do think that they're super helpful. They are probably the #1 thing that has caused me to be successful during NaNo, so I can highly recommend them. So we this year are hosting a combination of in-person and virtual events. This event in itself is a hybrid, so we have this virtual component, and also we are physically present at the library giving this presentation. So we have a specific event policy for this year. It's new, we haven't done it before because we are coming back from having been in lockdown and not being allowed to host in-person events. The short version of the rules is that we are making masks mandatory at all of our in-person events, and we are requiring people to RSVP so that we can ensure that we are not going over room capacity. So there is a specific document. You can find it pretty easily in the regional spaces on the for the Ottawa region on the NaNo website. If you want to read it in full, go find it there. If you can't find it, reach out to us. We're easily accessible through the NaNo website. We have an email address. We have a variety of social medias where you can find us and talk to us. So don't be afraid to do that. If you want to know how to find the events, on the regional page for the Ottawa region, which you should be able to find fairly easily if you have signed up and joined the region, there is a specific tab for all of our events. They have all the information you'll need on them, such as the location, start time, the duration, any special instructions about things you need to do to attend, and things like that. Unless there's something on the page saying otherwise, most events are come when you can, leave when you have to. They're very flexible. You don't need to show up exactly on time or leave exactly on time. The events are there to serve you. So don't feel like you need to stress out if you show up 15 minutes late, if you show up halfway through the event. We are happy to have you at any time during the event. We do want you to RSVP though, just so we know that we should be expecting you. All right, so you may notice on the website that there may be some events that are listed as unofficial. Just to quick clarify what that means is the 3 of us MLs are the ones who have scheduled the majority of the events that will be up on the website. But if you see one that says unofficial, it means it's being hosted by someone other than the 3 of us. This means that we can not assume any responsibility for anything that happens at those. So if you have any issues at them, just be aware we are not involved in any of the organizing there. We will gladly hear your comments and concerns about an unofficial event, but unfortunately we cannot do much about it. That said, if you're at an official event and there are any issues, definitely get in touch with one of the 3 of us. You can not NaNoWriMo HQ, not the staff that works in San Francisco, because unfortunately they will not be able to help you. If you have something happening in the local sphere, definitely come to us. We're easily reachable. There is contact information for us at the end of the presentation.
All right, so who can attend who can attend events? So all the writers are welcome. If you've signed up to the website, RSVP'd, we'd love to have you. So NaNoWriMo is open to participants who are 13 years and over. Anyone under the age of 13, we do ask that you have adult supervision at our events. There is also a separate website, the Young Writers Program.
Yes.
Yeah, that is for anyone under the age of 18, I believe. So that also is an option if you are on the younger side. We also do welcome writer adjacent guests. They are welcome to come to events as long as they are respectful of the fact that this is our writing time. We are there to write or socialize with writers. As long as they're not distracting anyway, they're totally welcome to come to the events. All right, so what online tools do we here in the Ottawa region use for our virtual events? So we use a few different ones. Our main one is the Discord. The link is on our region page, very easy to find. Discord's fairly easy to use once you get a bit used to it. But you can also reach out to us, we'll help you do that. We also have a Google Meet account where we'll host some virtual write-ins throughout the week. And we also have a YouTube channel that we will host write-ins through. Kim is the one who's running those ones, and they're really fun. All right, so what major events can you expect in the Ottawa region? A lot. I think we calculated at one point that we have 50 events in the month, something around that.
Yeah, in like
2018, in our more normal times. So our major big events, so we have our kickoff party. That's going to be on October 30th here at the library, same room that we're in right now. And then
Actually, auditorium.
No, yes, we now go in the auditorium because we're fancy. Yes. And then, so on October 31st, as Katie had mentioned, at around 11 o'clock, we meet for our virtual midnight write-in or our virtual kickoff, where at 12 o'clock, we all start writing. And then by about 1:30, we all decide that we're tired and we go to bed. It's great. And then our next big event is the all-day write-in, where we basically meet up at a location and we write from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's a whole lot of fun. We've got a bunch of activities and things that we do throughout the day to kind of keep people engaged and whatnot. We also have a lunch break. We do allow that. Although if you're more welcome to write throughout the lunch break if you want. After that, we have our halfway party. It's not quite the 15th, but we do it on the weekend where we're going to a restaurant and we'll sort of socialize. That's definitely more of a social only. We don't actually write at that halfway party. And then on the 19th, we're going to have our virtual all-night write-in. We're not doing it in person this year, which is really sad. Normally, we get all in our PJs and onesies and then write most of the night till about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. We're doing it virtual this year. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. And then one of our last actual in November events is our final day word crawl. Something we've been doing it for a few years now. We'll walk you through sort of what a word crawl is. It's a great way to sort of get in those last few words. You're just kind of inching close to the 50K or whatever your goal is, and you're just not quite there. We'll help push you over to that. And then once November is totally over and we're all kind of done with it, we have the thank goodness it's over party. We're just so happy that the month is totally done, that we have a party, and it's a lot of fun. All right, so you might be thinking, holy cow, this is really intimidating. How do you not get overwhelmed? It is really easy to get overwhelmed, but we've been doing this for a really long time. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've kind of figured out how to not get overwhelmed. You can do it. There are, 400,000 people every year who do this. You're not going to do it alone at the very least. So kind of a list here, sort of some things that we recommend. So make a plan for when you will write. Attending write-ins is a great way to sort of set a time aside to write, but write-ins might not, the ones that we host might not be the right times for you. Maybe you are someone who works evenings, so mornings are your writing time. So try and set aside half hour, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever time that you can. Just set it aside and be, that is my writing time. You tell people you live with, your family, friends, you know, I'm going to be writing between this hour and this hour. Please don't reach out to me during that time. And then try to stick to that schedule if you can. If you do feel sort of discouraged throughout the month, the in-person and online communities are super incredibly supportive. Again, as the sort of Kim had mentioned about the, you know, you're at a coffee shop, you're kind of like, oh, I don't really feel like I really want to write. And then you kind of look around and you're like, oh my God, everybody else is writing. Maybe I should too. It's a really great way to kind of actually get some words out. And if you are feeling discouraged, you can also chat to us. Anyone in Discord, everyone's super, super lovely. And also, we're also available for sort of pep talks. We do run a pep talk every week to sort of give you that little pep of inspiration if you're sort of missing it. Also, don't stress about writing something perfect. Again, the finished, not perfect. I guarantee you there are things that I've written and then I will go over it and be like, where was I going with this? The sentence doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter. As long as it's written, you can fix it later. And don't stress about reaching your word count goal. Even if you've chosen to do 50,000, 5,000, 100,000, whichever one, there's no point in stressing about not getting there, because you can always change the goal. You can always say, okay, I thought I was going to do a whole heck of a lot. I'm not going to be able to reach that. You can change it. And if you don't meet it, it's not the end of the world. You don't technically win something when you win NaNo. So
Other than your novel.
yes, other than the novel and the words you've written. I mean, if you've written anything, you kind of have already won. You actually have something that was not there before, which is amazing. So the goal should sort of motivate you. And if it's not motivating you, figure out how it will motivate you. And if you need other motivation, the three of us, we can also help out with that.
Thank you, Helena. So just a quick jump back in to talk about the Ottawa region specifically. A lot of what we've talked about before is stuff that applies generally. So like the advice about how to approach NaNo, what it is, how the website works, things like that. They're very applicable everywhere, but the Ottawa region has a little bit of spice of its own. So there are some things that we do that not every other region does. So for example, we have a lot of writing activities, such as we have writing prompt bingo sheets that we hand out previously only in person, now both in person and virtually. So you can pick a physical copy of the bingo sheets, or you can go get a PDF version of it. They're not out yet. They will be out soon. So keep an eye out in the NaNoWriMo, the Ottawa NaNoWriMo spaces for that. We also do daily writing challenges. They're all optional, but they're there if you need something to spark some inspiration, or you'll say, I don't know what to write. You can go into our writing challenge thread, which will be on the NaNo forums and on our Discord, and say, all right, what is today's challenge? Maybe it will give me an idea for something to write. And we also typically run, for the past couple of years, a month-long friendly competition. It is also, again, entirely optional. These are all things that are here to serve you. And so what typically happens is you sign up and you get assigned to or get to choose a specific team to be on, and there will be activities and challenges throughout the month that will allow your team to progress sort of in opposition or in collaboration with the other teams. And at the end of the month, everyone who has participated will get certificates or bragging rights. And so exact details about this year's month-long competition are going to be coming out very soon. In addition to the activities that we run that are sort of specific to our region, we've also have a tendency to bring in a lot of prizes and goodies for our RIMOs. So in addition to the official NaNo stickers, which are available to all regions, we have also over the past years been giving out other swag. So we have charms to go on charm bracelets. This year we have a variety of them. In previous years, they've been a bit more structured about what charms you can get for what tasks. This year's a little more free form, and so you can get a wide variety of different charms that will be available with the MLs at the write-ins that we're attending. We also have a variety of writerly swag packages. Those are on first come, first serve, so they may disappear early in the month. But if you're attending events, come ask us about them. We've got a whole bunch of fun little things just to give out for as a thank you for attending. And also we have a variety of prizes usually that we give out at events like our Thank Goodness It's Over party. So if you want to come and see about what we've got and maybe win something, come check out our Thank Goodness It's Over party. It's always a lot of fun.
I wanted to add something. One thing I did want to mention that we always kind of keep forgetting, but we've done for, it's been a few years we're doing this. We actually challenge the San Francisco region, which is where NaNo is situated. So we challenge them to sort of see who can like raise the most money, also write the most words throughout the month. And we kind of do some little challenges throughout the month. So that is something that some regions will sort of challenge and battle other regions, but we have chosen the mothership basically, challenge them every year. And it's a lot of fun. We've won multiple times again. I think we always win the word count against San Francisco. I think we have more, I think they have more people, but we have more people that write more. So our averages are better than theirs. We always lose in donations though. But that's, you know, bigger city, it makes sense.
So that is actually a challenge for this year. Help us beat San Francisco in terms of donations. See if we can actually do them in everything this year. That'd be awesome. Okay, I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. All right, so we are going to go on to our wrap up at this point. Just to let everyone know, this is being recorded. There will be a recording of this on the library website, along with a PDF of these slides. That PDF will contain this slide in particular, is Contact Us, which has not only links to the NaNo site, links to our individual pages on NaNo, so you can go in and befriend us. Also links to all of our social medias. So we have our Facebook group, our Twitter group, our Discord, and our email. There are multiple ways to get in touch with us, and we are giving those ways, those contact methods to you. So if you have any questions, if you ever want to just like drop a message and say hi, just hit us up on any one of a million different contact methods. Okay, I think that is everything for today. So first off, thank you everyone, and thank you to the Ottawa Library for hosting us today. Thank you to everyone who came in attendance, and we really hope to see you in November. Join our region because it is the best region. And I think we're going to wrap things up there. Thank you to Kim and Helena, my fellow MLs as well.
I want to thank our MLs. We're very happy to have NaNoWriMo at the OPL this year. There are going to be a lot of write-ins, a lot of events at many different branches. So we're today at the main branch of the Ottawa Public Library. There will be write-ins at Saint Laurent, at Beaverbrook, at Greenboro, and Orleans. So make sure to check out our calendar of events, and also your NaNoWriMo.org calendar of events to make sure that you know to see what's happening close to you. And don't forget that the library has multiple resources for you to use. We always have a current copy of the Chicago Manual of Style, for example. We have many books on writing, including books written by past NaNo participants to help you write a novel in 30 days. So make sure to check our website, biblioottawalibrary.ca. Bye, everybody.